What's up everyone, welcome to Akuma's Arsenal, and today we are reviewing the Rolex Explorer. So, the intro you guys have just saw was a bunch of pictures and the 50s and sort of that whole era, and the Rolex Explorer came from that essence of the fact that World War II was just over. The world was kind of figuring out what was going to be the aftermath, and that's when this watch was created. So the reference number is a 114270. It's 36 millimeters. The Rolex Explorer came from the bubble back. So if you look even on modern Explorers, they kind of have a case back that kind of bulges out a little bit. Personally, I'm not exactly for sure, but I think that's an ode to those bubble back cases. If you're not for sure what a bubble back is, it's just a variant of the Rolex Oyster. It was worn by the men who first summited Mount Everest and other mountains as well. Funny enough, when they are summiting those mountains, it wasn't even called the Rolex Explorer yet. So it had to earn the name Explorer, it just wasn't given to it. So this specific Rolex has the caliber 3130, manual wind, hacking. It has manual wind hacking. It's temperature resistant, so if there's a wide range in temperatures, it's not going to damage the movement. For example, some watches, let's say when it's cold, they'll start to run slower, or might damage the movement, or the oils might freeze. If it's too hot, you know, a bunch of issues with just things in general when it gets too hot or too cold. But that helps resist against that. I'm not exactly for sure how. It's chronometer certified as well, and also shock resistant. So it's a very, very reliable, robust movement. Don't quote me on this. Trust me on this, but don't quote me on this. I think it started. This version came out late 90s or early 2000s and ran up until, I believe, the release of the new 39mm Rolex Explorer, so which is called the Rolex Explorer 2. If you guys have bigger wrists, I mean, yeah, there's the 39mm version. However, for me, I think that 36mm version is where it's at. I feel like it's more in tune with the classic Rolex Explorer, the one that made the Explorer so famous. And funny enough, my uncle is a very, very knowledgeable guy, and he knows a good amount about watches. He looked at it and was like, hey, is that the ladies version? So yeah, might get mistaken for a ladies watch, but who really cares? You know, it's close to that Rolex heritage, and the fact that it's smaller helps it become more versatile. It can double as a dress watch, it's an everyday watch, it's an adventure watch, it can be so many things, and that's one of the reasons why I really like it. When you put this on a bracelet, I mean, of course you're gonna have it on the bracelet. It's a Rolex, but yeah, bracelets super duper comfortable. Signed Rolex clasp, but on the inside, actually, there's a really cool thing. The bracelet actually kind of reminds me of the classic 2000, believe it or not, the Tag Heuer. But on the inside, the bracelet is stamped Rolex. I'm not for sure if that's on all Rolexes, but I think that's a really nice touch. Just Rolex with a nice crown. Kind of an old school, kind of French looking, yeah, 1700s crown, like the one that King Louis had before they chopped off his head. Off with his head! I don't speak French, so. No offense to my Frenchies out there. It's Sid caliber 3110. The Lume, pretty decent. It has the Superlova Lume. Personally, I think it's kind of dull, but I'm pretty sure it lasts longer than normal Lume. So yeah, it's not as bright. It kind of has a blue hue to it, but however, it lasts for a longer time. So I think that'll, Lume starts to die off after, a decade, and I think this one will keep on chugging. And I'm not exactly for sure when this exact model was produced. I think Arne told me 04, 06, but you know, from that time range, right? If it's from that era, it's already 10 years old, and the lume on this is like it was a brand new watch. So the lume is going to last a long time. Do not worry about that. Little things is what makes this watch great, really. It's already so conservative and already so sleek and already so minimalist that what kind of you're thinking to yourself when you're looking at it, like, what makes this watch so filthy? Is it the history? Is it the heritage? Is it the brand prestige of Rolex? Is it the marketing that Rolex does with these watches? Is it just a dope to a watch? You know, it's probably one of the least expensive Rolexes. I mean, you can get these for around $4 to $5 grand, maybe even $3 if you really get a good deal from your best friend. You know, what makes this watch so great? And it's great because it doesn't try to do anything. It's not trying to be anything. It's just there to be an exceptional tool watch, and that's why this watch is so beautiful. All the little accents, not even accents, but you know, the white gold around the hour markers does make it easier to see. Also, as a marketing tool, you know, our white gold hour marker surrounding the hour markers, it sounds cool, but on top of that, it's more legible to see. It kind of catches the light, and it always looks different. I took a picture on my Instagram with this watch next to my SKX, my Sub 033, and my Seiko S&D AC81. At first glance, you can't tell the difference, but holding both in person, you know, experiencing the caliber 3130, experiencing the caliber 3130 and manual winding it. I haven't changed the time on it, but you know, just feeling that in the manual wind, it feels very good. The first time I actually handled it, and even when I handled it yesterday when I first gave it to me, it feels, your fingers feel like the zapper. You know, when you zzz, you know, that kind of feeling you get? It feels like that the first couple times you wind it, because for me, I'm not used to feeling a movement that clean. 2824s and Seiko movements don't have that same intangible feeling to them. Handling this watch kind of makes me understand what luxury is more, and to me, luxury is just stacking all the details in the right context to perpetuate the image of luxury. That's it. And this watch does that very well. I think for most people out there, you know, you can spend $3,000 more and get a Submariner, yes. However, you know, personally for me, a Submariner is 40 millimeters, right? It's a little bit big. What else? You know, even the ceramic versions are even bigger. It is $3,000 more. It is a little bit more common. It is sort of has turned into this, like, personally, I don't understand wearing a dive watch with a suit. I've done it because at the time I didn't have a dive watch, but a Submariner is a common luxury wristwatch. It's an icon. But if you're looking for something more sleek, more minimal, a little bit more reserved, a little bit more refined, a little bit more it's kind of like you look at the Rolex, you go to, it's like we're at the Rolex Closet Boutique today. What would you like, sir? We have Daytonas, we have Submariners, we have GMTs, and we have Yachtmasters, and we have Datejust and Daydates. And what would you like, sir? Oh, what's that in the corner over there? Oh, that's our most affordable option. That's our Rolex Explorer. I really like the way this design is. You know, tell me about the history. Oh, first watch, blah 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 blah, on Mount Everest. Da, 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 da. You know, I kind of like that one. It's subtle. It's not as easily recognizable. I think I'm gonna go with the Explorer. What size step? Oh, 36 or 39. You know, I think I'll go with the 36 millimeter version. It is the skeleton in the back door of the Submariner line. At least that's what impressions are. I know that Rolex has sold a bunch of these, a bunch of these. However, it's not as iconic as the other lineup in Rolex's line, like the Date Just, like the Date, like the Day, like the Submariner, like the GMT. And I really do like it. I really do like. I mean, for example, the case is very similar to a Date Just. It's a tool watch. It really is that kind of in between so many different types of watches. And if you had to pick one watch in your life and you picked this one, you'd be happy. Definitely. While filming the B-roll shots, I was just looking through, it's a book called Century, and it has just photographs from all the years from 1900 to 1999, right? And I haven't looked through the whole book. However, I did look through, the 50s section. And so many different things happened during the 50s. You got the Korean War, the uprising of Budapest. You have the Civil Rights Movement. You have Nixon getting elected president. You have, the start of the Civil Rights Movement. You got, the Cold War happening. The aftermath of World War II. Europe is trying to figure out what is the new Europe going to look like after that gigantic war. You got the Red not even the Red Scare, the Cultural Revolution in China. You have communism sweeping throughout the world, not really sweeping, but you know what I mean. Changing and affecting the world. The world back then was a very, very different place than it is today, and I do believe this watch carries on that legacy. It's like it takes a look back at that era, right? At the watch and the first Rolex Explorer. I'm not exactly for sure the model number, and it kind of just modernizes it. And I love this watch because of the fact that it has shaped history. This watch has shaped history, no doubt. It's a very, very interesting watch, and I'm very, very thankful to have handled it. Thank you very much, Arne, for lending it to me. And if you guys have anything that you would like to say, or if you guys have ever handled, reviewed, touched, owned, seen a Rolex Explorer 36, 39, any of the vintage options, let me know what you guys thought in the comments, because I would really like to see what you guys think about it. Well, this is the end of the video. The intro is going to be a continuation of the outro is going to be a continuation of the intro. Thank you very, very much for watching, and Akuma out.